In the heart of suburbia, where flower beds are manicured with precision and every window gleams with an impeccable shine, lives a woman whose perfection masks a tangled web of secrets. Here, in this seemingly flawless haven, lies a mystery that whispers through the crevices of carefully maintained lives. This is the story of the perfect suburban wife, a tale steeped in quiet suspense, hidden pain, and the inevitable unraveling of a facade that many believe will never shatter. At first glance, the wife appears to embody the very essence of domestic grace. Her mornings are filled with ritual, a perfectly brewed cup of tea, the rustle of a silk robe, and the soothing cadence of well-rehearsed routines. Neighbors pass by with smiles and knowing nods, never suspecting that behind each warm greeting lies a reservoir of secrets too dark to be reconciled with the stunning smile she effortlessly displays. Where many see harmony, a closer inspection reveals that perfection is often crafted with meticulous care and, in this case, brilliant deception. The perfect suburban wife, with her poised exterior and gracious manners, has long mastered the art of concealment, of burying shame and heartache beneath the surface of perpetual bliss. Yet, as in all stories where beauty hides a truth, the most flawless veneer is bound to crack under the weight of an unforeseen truth. Imagine, if you will, that the sun, in its daily descent, does more than cast long shadows. It silently witnesses the crumbling of a carefully constructed illusion. Beneath the cycled patterns of daily routine, a series of unsettling events began to stir. A misplaced whisper here, an inexplicable item left in an unexpected place there, hints of a life lived in halves, one that meets society's expectations, and one that hides a darker narrative. In the endless pursuit of an idealized existence, every minor discrepancy ripples outward, eventually converging to form a crescendo of disquiet. In the annals of suburban legend, it is said that every picture-perfect life hides a chapter, not meant for public display. For the perfect wife, each smile masked the tumult of countless whispered regrets and silenced cries. Behind pristine walls, she wrestled with the ghosts of her past, a legacy not of broken promises alone, but of moments imbued with quiet rebellion against an existence dictated by others. Have you ever wondered how much of what we see is but an artful performance? Consider that in every routine, every carefully choreographed detail of daily life, there exists an undercurrent of hidden truth, a truth that teeters on the brink of revelation. In suburban households, where every door is double-locked and every secret is safely tucked away, the perfect wife has managed to maintain the illusion of stability. Yet even the most rock-solid constructs are not immune to time. As the relentless tick of the clock continues unabated, the lies we live in eventually expose themselves through the cracks. It is in these moments where silence is interwoven with anxiety, where fleeting expressions betray concealed longing, that the real story unfolds. Look closer. Beneath the gentle hum of an everyday life, the perfect suburban wife battles an inner chaos that defies the serenity of her surroundings. A dark secret festers like an unwelcome guest, a truth that echoes through the halls of her once happy home and challenges the narrative of perfection that she has spent years carefully crafting. As night falls over the muted suburb, the cool, indifferent darkness seems to swallow her silhouette. With each passing moment, the pressures of expectation grow heavier, each heartbeat a reminder that even the purest dreams may harbor a disquieting underbelly. For the wife, every midnight brings with it a confrontation with the elements of her past, with memories buried deep, with choices made under duress, and with the creeping inevitability of exposure. In this silence, every rustle of wind and every creak of the settling house speaks volumes of a life in perpetual suspense. In art and song, rain is often emblematic of renewal, yet for her, it is a constant reminder of sorrow, a wretched cadence that underscores each quiet tear shed in moments of solitude. The sound is both melancholic and mediating, a gentle lullaby that orchestrates the inner workings of a mind in combat with itself. Here, in the clandestine monologue of the night, the perfect suburban wife contemplates the choices that have led her to this precipice of vulnerability, wondering if redemption lies in confession or in the perfection that remains, ever elusive. Each artifact tells a part of her story, a narrative fragment of a life lived in parallel worlds. In these relics, the biographical details of her existence reveal contradictions, moments of genuine affection marred by the scars of betrayal, laughter echoing amidst a backdrop of solitude. Her carefully storied past merges with her present in an endless loop of reminiscence and regret. And in these relics, the perfect wife stands at a crossroads, caught between the glittering allure of an ideal existence and the unavoidable reckoning of what lies beneath. In every community, the spread of soft whispers and knowing looks can become a map, pointing to a concealed truth. The whispers begin softly at first, mere echoes of curiosity and pointed glances. As suspicion grows, the calm facade of suburban life starts to crack ever so slightly. Every misplaced comment, every hurried side glance from an observant neighbor begins to draw attention to the spaces between the days. Soon, the community finds itself entangled in an inescapable web of gossip that threatens to disturb the carefully balanced equilibrium of their lives. At this reflective moment, sorrow battles resolve, a tumult of inner conflict mirrored in the darkened glass. Her life, once a tapestry of order and grace, now tangles with the threads of imperfection. The image that stares back at her is one of contradictions, a woman whose face, though exquisitely painted with domestic perfection, is marked by the silent scars of a life lived on the edge of error and perfection. It is in that fleeting, introspective moment that the true weight of her secret becomes palpable, echoing the realization that no amount of surface charm can forever cement the illusion of flawlessness. So, how well do you really know the woman next door? Beneath every radiant smile lies the intricate narrative of an existence wrought with choices and consequences. Beneath every carefully polished surface, the heart might be beating an erratic rhythm, a rhythm that signals the time when the fiction of perfection gives way to a raw, unvarnished reality. Her story is not just her own. It is woven into the fabric of every family that has ever chased an unattainable dream of perfection. In this quiet reclamation of truth, the narrative challenges the societal constructs that equate outward appearances with inner happiness. The seemingly harmless routine of life becomes a stage where each act is both a performance and a desperate attempt to hide the dissonance that lurks behind closed doors. And as the delicate dance of our perceptions continues, the inevitable truth that perfection is but a fleeting mirage emerges as the central theme of her existence. The music swells quietly as the scene shifts to an intimate portrayal of her opening an old, dust-covered diary. The camera lingers on the textured pages filled with handwritten notes and softly scrawled confessions. In these cherished pages, the perfect suburban wife reveals her deepest fears and unspoken dreams, an anthology of moments that chronicle life's bittersweet rush. Every entry is a testament to her struggle, the yearning for meaning beyond the decorum of suburban normalcy, the helpless yet heroic fight against the forces that demand conformity, and a fervent hope that somewhere, amidst the chaos of secrets, redemption awaits. It is here, in the whispered lines of an intimate diary, that her soul finds solace and a voice freed from the chains of societal expectation. The diary is gently closed, its soft thump echoing in the quiet room. The camera pans to a window where raindrops have begun to blur the vibrant colors outside. As the rain drizzles softly against the glass, it is as if nature herself is joining the chorus of quiet revelation. The steady patter of water against the pane resonates like a metronome, keeping time with the pulse of the secrets hidden within. In that rhythm, the perfect suburban wife finds not only a reflection of her inner turmoil, but also a subtle reminder that even in the most controlled environments, chaos can seep through. The rain softly narrates her hidden grief, and, in its gentle persistence, offers the possibility of cleansing and new beginnings. The scene shifts to community gatherings, potlucks, block parties, and shared moments of suburban camaraderie. Yet, as the camera focuses on fleeting expressions and guarded glances, the tension underlying every interaction is palpable. In the tapestry of suburban life, every neighbor becomes both witness and participant in an unfolding drama, a drama where whispers evolve into rumors and rumors transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The perfect suburban wife, once the embodiment of grace and composure, becomes a figure of both admiration and quiet suspicion. As small-town tales are spun with the flicker of candlelit dinners and intimate parlor conversations, the truth that has so long been hidden begins to draw gasps of realization. The community, entwined in the fate of one life, stands on the cusp of an awakening where they must decide whether to cling to the reassuring embrace of a constructed perfection or to face the nuanced complexity of the truth. Close-up of her face as she stands at a balcony, the breeze tousling her hair, while her eyes scan the horizon, reflecting both resolve and sorrow. How does one balance the delicate act of being both a paragon of suburban virtue and the bearer of a secret too heavy to bear? For some, the lines blur until there is no clear demarcation between truth and facade. In those murky depths lies a paradox, a life lived in the public eye, yet compacted with unseen battles, an existence that, while celebrated for its outward perfection, is inherently fragile and prone to the corrosion of time and truth. The camera pans to a series of symbolic shots, a clock ticking methodically, the shifting of shadows on an unremarkable driveway, and a slowly rotating garden ornament that hints at life's impermanence. The clock ticks away an inescapable truth, that perfection, as alluring as it may seem, is merely an exquisitely designed performance. Behind every polished moment and every well-rehearsed smile, the perfect suburban wife harbors doubts that surge like wild currents beneath the placid surface of everyday routine. In these currents, the weight of every suppressed emotion, every regret that echoes in the silence, forms an undercurrent potent enough to upend the neat order of her life. And it is precisely this dissonance, this quiet rebellion against an imposed mold, that transforms her narrative from one of static perfection into a dynamic, ever-evolving quest for authenticity. Transition to a reflective sequence where the camera captures scenes of the changing seasons in the neighborhood, buds blossoming in spring, leaves cascading in autumn, and the soft, inevitable decay of winter. Much like the seasons, the perfect suburban wife's reality is subject to cycles of renewal and decay. In each blossoming day, she seeks to redeem the parts of herself that have long been neglected. In each falling leaf, she acknowledges that change, however painful, is an intrinsic part of life. The delicate interplay between order and chaos is a recurring refrain in her story, a reminder that the pursuit of perfection is less about achieving an unattainable ideal and more about embracing the unpredictable cadence of a life lived fully in spite of its imperfections. The camera cuts to a serene lakeside view, where gentle ripples disturb the surface of the water, offering a metaphor for the disruptions in her carefully constructed existence. Here at the lake's edge, where calm waters give way to unseen ripples beneath, lies a metaphor for the hidden truth in every tranquil life. The perfect suburban wife's journey is marked by these ripples, small disturbances that, cumulative in their effect, eventually lead to a surge that can no longer be ignored. It is in these moments of quiet metamorphosis that the true beauty of human resilience is revealed, the ability to confront one's inner turmoil, accept the shortcomings of a contrived perfection, and courageously chart a path towards reconciliation with oneself. The scene gradually shifts back to the interior of her home. The lights are dimmed, and the atmosphere carries a weight of introspection. A final moment of profound silence envelops the screen, Thus, the story of the perfect suburban wife is not merely an account of domestic routine gone awry. It is an invitation to explore the silent eddies flowing beneath the surface of everyday life. It poses a question that resonates with every one of us. Can the delicate veneer of perfection ever truly reflect the messy, unfiltered truth of the human experience? In the juxtaposition of polished exteriors and hidden imperfections, we find a narrative that is both cautionary and liberating, a call to acknowledge that behind every perfect door lies the possibility of a secret that ultimately defines who we are. The final image lingers on her reflective gaze in the window until it gradually fades into black. In the end, the perfect suburban wife reminds us that every story, no matter how meticulously orchestrated, is bound by the unpredictable rhythms of the heart. Her secret, once an anchor of guilt and sorrow, transforms into a poignant reminder that authenticity is forged not in the absence of imperfection, but in the courageous act of unveiling it. For in each of us, behind every carefully curated mask, lies the potential to both captivate and be captivated by the raw, unvarnished narrative of our true selves. Soft instrumental music fades out as the screen fades to the closing title. Title card, The Perfect Suburban Wife. A story of beauty, secrets, and redemption. End of script.